This would be Tuesday, November 19th. As you can see by my lovely screen, my projector has died, so we're going to have to use imagination. My regular class will get the beginning of Man from the South. The bell work can be found on Blackboard, so you can go in there and look and find it. It's about the short story mountain exposition, things like that. Tomorrow, we will, hopefully, if my magic screen starts working again, have a bell work, which will be your magic lens for the week. The good news / bad news is that we will not be going over the magic lens together. I'm going to give you guys a chance to take a look at it and do it all on your own. The bad news that connects to that is that there will be questions on the quiz Thursday from the magic lens. So I'm going to give you the sentence, and then you'll have to figure it out, and then to see how well you did, there'll be 2 questions on Thursday's quiz from that magic lens. If you have questions about it, I'm always happy to help you out, but you'll have to actually come and see me for the questions. We'll try to help you out from that point. Let's see. Then for today, for the story Man from the South, I also have a little bit of good news and bad news for you. Starting from here on out, you guys will have access to information that kids in my 7th period and occasionally my 6th period, when we do the same things in my advanced, won't have. If you tell them what happens in our stories, I'll have to be mean to you. And you're going to have to still take that off your head because you're busy working, not playing with it. So if we cover the story like today, if you were to find out the exciting things that happen and you go and tell the kids what happens in the story, then the next time we have our next story, you don't get to read it with us. I make you sit out in the hallway because today's story, Man from the South, has all kinds of fun and exciting things happen in it. So when we're going to get to next week, the lottery, no, it definitely has those things. So because part of the fun of the stories I choose is that big reveal when you get to the climax, like, oh my goodness, the man's a fish, and you find out whatever that exciting thing is. But if someone in an early class period tells you, yeah, the guy's a fish, you find out at the very end, you're like, oh, and it ruins it for you. I told my kids in my earlier class periods, if they tell you, I get to be mean, I am to kick them out. Same thing happens to you. The only class period this doesn't happen to is 7th period, because they can't tell them. But all my other class periods, if you speak and tell other kids, then I get to be mean to you. Likewise, if a kid tells you what happens in the story, come tell me. And be like, Joey, the idiot, tell me what happens. Now, you have to tell me what they told you, and you can give me their name, and then I can come back and be mean to them. Bye.
What do you mean your 7th period can't?
Because there's no classes that come after 7th period. So they're the last ones to find out. So if they went around telling everyone, everyone already knows. Now, one of the differences will be there's some of the books we're going to read, other teams haven't read yet. There'll be some books or stories we're going to do that kids on the Globetrotters and the Stars haven't read. And if you tell them, I'll also be mean to you. Because if they told, I would want their teacher to be mean to them. If all of a sudden, yeah, my Globetrotter friend read this story and they told me what happened at the very end, I'd be angry. But I can't torture that kid, so I would go and tell their teacher to torture them. Just like if you tell, I'll come back and torture you. Jason?
In the story of the necklace, we were reading it, and then a manual told me that the necklace was fake.
Okay.
You should torture him for that.
He's in the same class as you.
So? No, but he read ahead, like he was reading.
Well, then I would torture him. See, from now on we know. Maybe Emmanuel didn't know before. He was dumb then. Now he's smart. And he realized that if he makes that poor choice,
Wait, what's
bad
that
things happen to him. What?
The necklace.
He told him the necklace was fake, apparently.
The necklace.
Fact. For our story for today, we'll take a look at Man from the South. You can put everything else away. The only thing out of this is the story, so we can get into it from there. Right, so once again, you can put everything away except for a Man from the South or whatever weird language you just spoke to. The whole beginning part we're going to get into is the boring beginning where we introduce the characters. And what do we call the boring beginning stuff?
Exposition.
Nicely done. See how I had you put it away and ask you a question about it? So tricky. The exposition. And then today is where we're going to get to the fun stuff with rising action and suspense. Where you guys I'm going to keep stopping to talk and you guys get angry with me and it makes it all kinds of fun.
No.
Sure. As we get into it, what?
I asked. Yes.
Yeah, he did ask.
I know. But then he started tapping his pen a moment ago, and so I was a little angry
I didn't
with him.
tap.
Yes, you did.
Yes,
You did tap, 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 throw it over your head, grab, tap. I was getting ready to be mean to you too, but you beat me to it. So, weird how it'd be nice to first. If you get far enough into it, there are character voices that I will be reading, because he's weird. It's the only way to explain it.
Just like you?
just like me. Alright, you have to be nice and loud so they can pick you up on the camera. Right, so they can hear you on there, so you have to be loud. Okay, go for it, dear.
It was getting on towards 6 o'clock, so I thought I would buy myself a Coke and go out and sit in a chair by the swimming pool and have a little evening sun. I went to the bar and got the Coke and carried it outside and wandered down the garden toward the pool. It was a fine garden with lawns and beds of
Azaleas,
azaleas
type of flower.
and tall
Coconut?
coconut palms, and the wind was blowing strongly through the tops of the palm trees, making the leaves hiss and crackle as though they were on fire. I could see the cluster of big brown
Coconuts.
coconuts hanging down underneath the leaves. There were plenty of deck chairs around the swimming pool, and there were white tables and huge, brightly colored umbrellas and sunburned men and women sitting around in swimsuits. In the pool itself, there were 3 or 4 girls and about a dozen boys, all splashing around about and making a lot of noise and throwing a large purple beach ball at one another.
One more.
I stood watching them. The girls were English girls from the hotel. The boys, I didn't know about what they sounded American, and I thought they were probably naval cadets who come ashore from the U.S. Naval
Naval.
vessel, which had arrived in the harbor that morning.
Thank you, Tabar.
Where are we?
We are near the bottom of the first column. No, just a wee bit. Puerto Ricci. And we'll get you in just a moment. Hang on. So we don't know the main character's name. There's a reason we don't know the character's name, because what point of view is it?
First person.
First person. Because he's talking directly to us. We don't find out the main character's name. We just find out sort of where he is and stuff like that. And Jason, put it up. You don't need it. You're just going to lose points for playing with it.
I know.
Yeah, me too. And so we find out where he is. And so just put it right there. Down. Right there. No, down. Oh, I can help you.
No!
Thanks. And so we find out where he is. And where is our story? At least where is our setting so far in the story? Hardy? By the pool. I think we find out it's at a, does it say it's at a, a hotel, and we have a pool, and then we have, he's out there drinking a Coke. Oh, and it talks about naval cadets. Do you guys know what naval cadets are?
No.
Jackson?
People were training to be in the Navy.
Nice one. People who are trained to be in the Navy with the boats and stuff like that. So that's where the whole naval cadet thing comes in. And then let's see, from there, naval cadet, ready to go. Jason, you want to keep going from there?
No. Wait, yeah.
Okay.
I thought you were going to make me lose points.
Wasn't yet.
At the American?
I think I went over and sat down. No. Next one. It was very pleasant.
Alright. It was very pleasant sitting there in the sunshine with my coat. It was pleasant to sit and watch the swimmers splashing about in the green water. The American sailors were getting on nicely with the English girls. They reached the stage where they were diving under the water and tipping them up by their legs. Just then I noticed a small, oldish man walking briskly around the edge of the pool. He was
Immaculately?
immaculately dressed in a white suit, and he walked very quickly in little bouncing strides, pushing himself high up onto his toes with each step. He had on a large creamy Panama hat, and he came bouncing along the side of the pool looking at the people in the chairs.
Real quick, one, I had nice pictures to go along and show you all this stuff. But a Panama hat is like the fedora that Indiana Jones wears, and it's like a big brim. It's just a white hat, keep the sun off your face. They wear them down like South America and stuff like that. The walk that he does is sort of a step. It's like,
Yeah, the swag walk.
not really swag. I mean, I think swag is more I've heard. But it's more of just this up and down kind of bouncy walk. It doesn't play a big role in the story, but it's just one of those little things he notices. You want to keep going, Jason?
He stopped behind me and smiled. bunch of very small, uneven teeth, slightly tarnished. I smelled that.
Excuse, please, but may I sit here?
Did you say certainly?
You keep going.
Certainly. I said, go ahead. He bobbed around to the back of the chair and inspected it for safety. Then he sat down and crossed his legs. His white buckskin shoes had little holes punched all over them for ventilation.
A fine evening.
He said.
They are all evenings fine here in Jamaica.
I couldn't tell if the accent were Italian or Spanish, but I felt fairly sure he was some sort of South American, and old too. When you saw him, you probably pushed around 68 or 70. Yes, I said, it's a wonderful here, isn't it?
By the way, we just found out where it's taking place.
South America.
Yeah?
Jamaica.
Jamaica. He thinks the guy's probably from South America, but the hotel and the pool and all that is taking place down in Jamaica. Did they talk about the pool water yet?
Yeah.
What color it was?
Green.
The green pool water, not because it's nasty, but in a lot of these resort places, because they don't have access to fresh water, they use ocean water, and they just pump in water from the ocean. It's not dirty water, it's just that the ocean water has a natural tinge to it from like whatever the algae or things that grow in there. So the water, the pools will be green, and it's just clean water. It's just a greenish color, just like swimming in the ocean. So that's what they were talking about, the green water, which is freak you out too much.
Is there salt in it?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Which is nice, is you can float.
I don't like it. I don't.
Salt water, yeah.
But isn't it?
Dead silver.
No, that seems good.
Yes.
And who, might I ask, are all these? This is no hotel, people.
He was pointing at the bathers in the pool. I think they're American sailors. I told him. They're Americans who are learning to be sailors.
Of course they are Americans. Who else in the world is going to make as much noise as that? You are not American, no?
No, I said, I'm not.
Gabe, I'll keep going there. You want to read?
Suddenly, one of the American cadets was standing in front of us. He was dripping wet from the pool, and one of the English girls was standing there with him. Are these chairs taken? He said. No, I answered. Mind if I sit down? Go ahead. Thanks, he said. He had a towel in his hand, and when he sat down, he unrolled it and produced a pack of cigarettes and a lighter. He offered the cigarettes to the girl, and she refused. Then he offered them to me, and I took one. The little man said,
Thank you, no, but I think I have a cigar.
He pulled out a crocodile case and got himself a cigar. Then he produced a knife, which had a small scissors in it, and he snipped the end of the cigar.
The crocodile case is just crocodile skin. It was a case like you keep your cigars in. It was just like a hard oblong thing. It was like a tube. You pop it open, pull out your cigar, but it had crocodile skin on it to make it look all fancy. All right, keep going.
Here, let me give you a light. The American boy held up his lighter.
That will not work in this wind.
Sure it will. It'll work. It always works. The little man removed his unlighted cigar from his mouth, cocked his head on one side, and looked at the boy.
Always?
He said softly. Sure, it never fails. Not with me, anyway. The little man's head was still cocked over on one side, and he was still watching the boy.
Well, well. So you say this famous lighter, it never fails. Is that you say? I'm going to pause there. The lighter he's talking about is not your normal disposable ones that you guys use for 4th of July lighting things, trying to blow off your fingers. He's talking about, yeah?
I think I know.
What kind? It's a little flip top. It's called a Zippo brand. And they came out shortly after the big wars. And the idea being is that you could go out on the battlefields and the wind blowing wouldn't blow them out. I went out and got one so I can demonstrate. So if you've never seen one, it has a little flip top to it.
Oh, I
Like
have
that. And then when you light them, you have to refill them yourself. I had to refill it this morning because I use it once a year for the story. And you have like to get this lighter fluid that you squish into the bottom of it, and it's filled with cotton all down here in this bottom part. There's just cotton down in there. It soaks the cotton, and it's good for, I have no idea. I'm guessing a couple weeks maybe. I don't really use mine.
Can you use
No, I don't smoke, so I don't have a need for it, but I use it for the story. And so, yeah, it stays with you for however long, and then when it starts going out, you squirt stuff in there and refill it. And then when you light it, the little flame comes up. And it was supposed to be those little holes that you see going through it. It helps protect the wick, so when the wind blows, it doesn't go out. Now, given, you can blow it out if you give it a big blow, but that doesn't happen very often. But normally, in the wind, when it's hard to light your cigarettes, when you need to, you can have one of these, and you can light them when you're out there. You would also use them in the wars if you were trying to light off the wick for a bomb or something. I don't know if they use them in wars, but this was the big thing they're talking about, and that's what the kid keeps talking about. Offers to light the guy's cigar, and he's like, "That won't work out here in the wind." The kid's like, "Yeah, sure it
Make
will."
it smell.
And you just sort of flick it, and it works. Just put it out. That's how you do it. You don't want to, because it's not going to light the next time. So you just have to light it, and you close it. It cuts off all the oxygen, because fire has to have oxygen. Oh, there you go. That's the same thing. So that's gonna. I got it because it plays a big role in the story coming up. Well, well. So you say this famous lighter, it never fails. Is that you say? Sure, the boy said. That's right. He was about 19 or 20, with a long, freckled face and a rather sharp, bird-like nose. His chest was not very sunburned, and there were freckles there too, and a few wisps of pale, reddish hair. He was holding the lighter in his right hand, ready to flip the wheel. It never fails, he said, smiling now, because he was purposely exaggerating his little boast. I promise you, never fails. One moment, please. The hand that held the cigar came up high, palm outward, as though it were stopping traffic. Now, just one moment. He had a curiously soft, toneless voice, and he kept looking at the boy all the time. Shall we not perhaps make a little bet on that? He smiled at the boy. Shall we not make a little bet on whether your lighter lights? Sure, I'll bet, the boy said. Why not? You like to bet? Sure, I'll always bet. The man paused and examined the cigar. And I must say, I didn't much like the way he was behaving. It seemed like he was already trying to make something out of this, and to embarrass the boy. At the same